Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is not a structured review or anything, it's just a quick discussion, and it's very surface level. Candyman has been a cultural phenomenon since the 1990s, and I'm sure you all remember being with classmates at school playing Candyman in the mirror. But nonetheless, the original Candyman movie was groundbreaking in many ways. For one, it introduced a black main horror villain, and it brought to life about how African Americans live and the struggles they go through on a daily basis. However, that subplot point, along with the racial issues, it wasn't hitting you all over the head in the original Candyman, and that's why that movie flowed so well and has great rewatch value. But with this new Candyman 2021, it just seems like I was watching the news instead of watching a horror movie. And of course, that's not the only problem I had about this film. And I'm gonna be honest, I found nothing positive about this movie. Other than the message that they were trying to convey with the racism. But we could watch the news or be on social media to see all that. And I guess if I had one positive thing to say, I could commend Nia DaCosta, I think that's her name, for making this film on her own. But Candyman 2021 felt like a slow burn that actually never burns, if that makes sense. To be truthful, I feel like this whole Candyman movie or whatever they plan on doing, because I'm hearing rumblings of a sequel, they should have just took this whole thing to streaming services, whether it was Netflix or Amazon Prime, because this movie wasn't cutting it. And this movie just felt like an episode because the movie didn't have a real climax. And technically, you know what? It did have a climax. But it was so underwhelming that you wouldn't even know it was. And it's just a lot of things about this film that frustrated me. Like, all the kills were mainly off screen until the end. And Candyman is somewhat a hero and protector now. So is he really a horror villain right now? I don't know, man. It just got completely stupid and way out of hand at this point. And to be honest, you know what this remind me of? The Blair Witch Project and the Blair Witch Project 2, The Book of Shadows. The Blair Witch Project, The Book of Shadows, is a direct sequel to the original Blair Witch Project. But as you can tell, and if you've seen those movies, it's two completely different movies going in two different directions. So that's what I felt with this Candyman movie. And another main problem I had about this movie is that Candyman 2021 treats people like little kids. They reassure you throughout the whole entire movie. Every 15 minutes they do a flashback with these freaking cardboard cutouts. And it's like you're watching the 1990s version of Candyman being explained to you by these little puppets throughout the whole entire movie. And it's cutscene, puppets, cutscene, puppets. Why would we want to see that if we already seen the original? And for the people who just want to see this movie, I mean, it could have been a better way to explain the lore than going back to the original. That's all I'm saying. That was a complete waste of time, and it was just unnecessary, and it threw the flow of the movie entirely off. Overall, this was not my cup of tea, and this was not a great movie, and I had high expectations, but hey, that's my fault. But like I said, this was not a good movie in my opinion, and I'm gonna mention this. Everyone is aware of what's going on in today's time around the world, from protests, racial and social issues to politics. We don't need reassurance of that in a horror movie. And Candyman 2021 didn't do anything groundbreaking. It didn't even reach pop culture like I thought it would. And you know, it didn't even create a buzz, so the message is still not getting out there like they thought it would. So it was pointless to even try to even convey that the way they did in this movie. And I just feel like they made Candyman as a gimmick movie now. And I don't know, man. I just want them to make the movie more genuine. Don't force it, because they definitely forced this movie. And don't forget, this movie got delayed a year. And I was hyped for it. But like I said, man, it just let me down. But, you know, I am going to put this movie in the same category of recent horror movies that I will never watch again in my life. And that's Midsummer and the most recent Rings movie. I think that's what it's called, Rings. I seen that a couple of years ago, and that movie was the worst experience ever. Anyway, how do you all feel about this long anticipated Candyman sequel? Did you like it or did you dislike it? Share your honest thoughts down below and subscribe if you love horror movies and paranormal discussions. With that being said, as always, be safe